evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's episode of Triggered. And I'm Zach Clark, and you all know my co-host, Adam Furman. And I'm coming to you live from the very depths of the Marianas Trench. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing good. It's been a mostly peaceful night, with guns drawn on people in my neighborhood.
Guns drawn, but mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful, but the threat of death also.
That's life every day, buddy.
What?
Yeah.
No.
So sit back, pour yourself a nice glass of Jameson whiskey. Jameson, if you're looking for a sponsor, somebody, feel free to reach out to our media consultant. You can send him a DM on our Twitter account.
Yeah.
Was that
He's a bit unreliable. We're working on it.
I don't know. He's coming around. Is that a Limerita I saw in your hand?
That it's a I don't know about brand, and I don't know. It's a green can, green and white can.
Delicious.
Or it's
what?
It's something.
Hey, gets the job done. We have our audience says that we should adopt stage names. We could be like radio DJs. Hammer in the Fuzz, coming to you live. WMDB.
Yeah, whatever. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that? Suggest in the comments below. Suggest our new stage names that we can adopt, our new aliases for next time. All right, but what? No, go ahead. What? I don't want to cut you off.
I said DJ McDJ face.
Oh, now you got it. We can have Bodie McBoatface on as a guest.
It's just a boat.
It'd be like, so, Boat, how has your career been serving the fine people of Great Britain? And it just goes, whoa. All right, let's get into it. Coming to you first tonight, we've got the Scanner Radio with their hot on the topic.
Who needs a soundboard?
That's what I'm saying. Hot with the news coming to you as soon as it happens. Earlier, the Quincy Police Department was out on North 6 with a male that was fighting with a lamp. QPD requested EMS. EMS had to transport the subject to the ER.
He's fighting with a lamp?
Yeah, not much of a fighter. He was hospitalized by a lamp.
Well, it's probably the genie inside of it.
Oh, I don't know. I imagined it was like a street lamp, but we don't have all of the details here.
Oh no. Probably. That would crush you.
Well, I don't know. You'd have to take it down. I just thought it was hilarious. There wasn't much on the scanner in the last few days, other than the news that happened in your block.
Yeah. I don't know. People crazy.
People be crazy all the time. Not the least of which are people that love the Powerpuff Girls. I think we were talking about the Powerpuff Girls the other day.
Maybe. I know that right afterwards, I do remember, I'm not sure if it was on the show or not, but I do remember shortly after we were talking about it that they announced that, I believe it's the CW, is going to have a live-action Powerpuff Girls.
That's exactly right. And in our continuing coverage of new media ruining our childhoods and things that people love from the past, they're going to create a live-action Powerpuff Girls. dark and gritty.
Yeah.
They're in their 20s and they're
Yep.
jaded, having lost their childhoods to crime fighting.
Yeah.
And
I
again,
don't know.
who's this for?
I don't know. It's just. I bet you. There's a lot of educational material out there about deferred childhood and childhood trauma. You could probably just pick up a book and read about it.
No. You need to put it on drama and use your childhood friends that you had on the TV to tell you about how terrible their lives are. Don't try.
It ruins the thing.
Don't try.
It ruins it. The whole point. No. The whole point is, it's a fun thing. Here's 3 superhero girls, and they're beating up a monkey with a brain coming out of his head or whatever. And then it's like, it's fun. It's cartoon. Whatever. They even beat up like amoebas or something. I think the Green Gang, right?
Yeah, it was a fun show. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it in since I was a child, but I remember it was okay. I mean, I think the same creators did like Dexter's Laboratory and stuff. It was okay. It was fine to watch. And now it's just like taking a dump on your childhood creation, like the creations that inspired your childhood. I don't know. Is there anything going to be fun and exciting and happy out of it? No. You can tell right by the description there. It's talking about their lost childhood.
Yeah.
It's not even like a fun lost childhood type deal. Well, no, I guess I was going to say Peter Pan, but that's not quite it. The Lost Boys.
Everybody was chomping at the bit to have a disenfranchised 20-something Powerpuff Girls reboot, Adam. You can't see the writing on the wall? Marketing genius.
Never heard of that before.
Well, everybody was talking about it. This
dark and gritty.
This post alone had 3,500 retweets and comments. So
yeah, you should see
what
what they're saying.
Oh, let's see. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Who do we cast for these roles if they get to appear?
That looks terrifying.
Oh my God! I think that's what they should do. They should just reboot the show, but it follows these 3 characters.
What's the one with the red? I forgot their names.
We got Bubbles, Blossom.
Bubbles, I know. Or no.
Buttercup.
Buttercup and Bubbles, I knew. Baby Spice, Ginger Spice, and Buttercup Spice.
Oh, don't forget her. Are we gonna get to play this
my gosh.
character?
What is that? I don't know who that is.
Oh, here we go. Steve Buscemi as Blossom, Chris Hemsworth as Bubbles, and Terry Crews as Buttercup. I can see that.
Yes.
I'd watch that show every day.
I would. Yeah, but that's the that I would actually watch that, but that's not. That'd be like a whole different like setting and mood, right? It'd be a comedy. It wouldn't be like a dark and gritty rendition.
It follows
Dad,
these.
why did you create us in a lab for us to just do things for other people and save them?
No, in this reboot, Professor Utonium died of cancer from all of his experiments.
Oh my God. Are you for real?
No, I don't know. I'm making that up.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That sounds on par.
In my version, we follow these guys, and the Powerpuff Girls are just side characters in the episode.
Yeah. Oh wait. Even in my version, the Green Gang is actually the protagonist, and the girls are actually the villains. They're the worst.
I like where you're going with
Jaded. They turn out to be actually evil.
Yeah.
And so now they're your childhood heroes are the worst.
I mean, what even is the hero? Would they even be heroes? Adam, would Jesus even be a Christian if he came back today?
Oh my goodness.
Coming,
I'm, oh,
coming to you live from Galaxy Brain Twitter. We've got this fine individual. It all arrived when apparently certain people were perturbed, I'll say, because there was some, I don't know, allusions to Christ himself at the Republican National Convention that made this Jewish lady uncomfortable. And then this other one chimed in. I think they really believe if Jesus came back, he'd be a Christian. It's mind-blowing to me.
I don't even know where to begin unpacking that. I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, I know.
Oh, if I don't know. I don't know what bad words to say on YouTube.
No, this is PG. So keep the swears to a minimum here.
I was gonna swear. Let's see. It'd be like, if Richard Dawkins came back, he would, he'd be Buddhist. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, and this is what I said. I said, well, Jesus wouldn't be Christian, obviously. He would be the Lord.
Yeah, but he is the head of the church, and the church is Christian, so ergo he is Christian.
Can you worship yourself like that? I don't know how this works.
See. He worshipped in the temple, and he is God, and he worshipped even though he talked about his Father. So not trying to get into parsing out the persons of the Trinity, but in one sense, yes.
Here's what I'm saying. I think that the Lord might transcend religious titles and nomenclature. Like those people that say and try to debate whether or not when he was on earth last time, if he was Jewish. And back then even, I would say that, well, he was raised in the Jewish tradition. But again, he was the Lord. So it's not, he's not exactly Jewish. He is the, God himself.
Well, right. Well, you gotta, you gotta define your terms and what are you talking about and whatnot. Jewish, well, he's Israelite. You want to talk about, like, ethnic Jew. Was he under the law? Yes, and he fulfilled the law. He's head of the church also.
Right. But I think it's the same thing to say that, let's say the man that Jesus was and is, while he walked the earth, and we wanted to describe his earthly human characteristics, we might say things like he was a carpenter and he was Jewish, etc., etc. But as implied in that very thoughtful tweet, I don't know that if we're saying that the faith and religious belief of God himself is Judaism or is Christianity.
Right.
I don't know that you can even conceive of the mind of God and, omniscience and knowing all things and what that even means. And they're trying to
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, no, and we've just proved, we put more than 2 seconds thought into this, and it's we're trying to make it maybe either of the options that we are describing, they hadn't even thought about. It's pretty self-evident that that's the case there.
We don't know. The only thing we know is that her mind was literally blown by the fact that someone might say that Jesus is Christian. So she might have thought along the same lines we are. I could go out on a limb and say that she had this exact conversation in her own mind and said, oh, these silly people think that Jesus Christ would be Christian.
No,
When
it
in
was,
fact,
she was.
he
There's
is
no
God
way
himself.
she thought that.
I don't know. We'll never know. It's
I don't.
Schrodinger's internet comment.
Schrodinger's Christ.
Yeah.
Do we have any comments about that?
Let's see what we got here in the comment thread. Would he wear one of those little caps? Would Jesus wear a yarmulke?
Oh, a yarmulke. I don't know what a little cap is. I mean, I don't know.
What do they call, like a Shriner? I don't know if Jesus would be a Shriner.
Probably not.
He'd be busy. I don't think that he'd have time to drive those cars in the parade.
Zachary, we know that Jesus would definitely wear a MAGA hat. I can tell you that. He'd
vote Republican today. I tell you what.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think I'm done voting when Jesus comes back. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to have other things to do. You know, with all of the lakes of fire and multi-headed beasts and things that are going to be arriving.
There's only one lake of fire.
I'll be preoccupied.
You just got to watch out for it.
Speaking of people who deserve a lake of fire.
Oh,
boo! Boo!
Oh no!
Boo! I can't even talk about this. Yeah, Fuzzy, get on the horn. We're going to be picking on your guy again. Old Rod Blagojevich was in the news today. He blames his
Fuzzy.
He blames his conviction on the persecution of corrupt prosecutors throwing him in prison. He goes on to, at this charity dinner he was at, lament and goes on a tirade saying, I didn't cross a single line. I didn't break a single law. I didn't take a penny. I was very careful with my campaign money. I never promised anything in exchange for a campaign contribution. I never threatened anybody in exchange for a campaign contribution. I went to prison without that necessary quid pro quo that is required by law.
Do you have... I distinctly remember reading the affidavit back in, I don't know, 08 or 09 or whatever, whenever he was arrested by the feds. And the transcript of the phone conversations read like The Godfather. It was great. It was great. Plus they, I guess there was no actual crime being committed at that point. Maybe. I don't know.
I think there was crimes being committed long before any of that happened.
Our dear leader, our current leader here, J.B. Pritzker.
It really makes me sick to my stomach that Rod Blagojevich is out of prison. And it makes me even sicker to my stomach that he's back in my face, going to fundraisers and talking to the... Ugh, I just want him to go away forever. This is his horrible man. I recommend anybody.
Maybe we should get him on as a guest.
Yeah, I meant anybody that wants to. You need to go out and read some of this trash he did. And they didn't get him for half the stuff he was doing. But he was shaking down children's hospitals for campaign contributions. And I looked this up today.
Oh my gosh, what a piece of trash.
He wouldn't help them advance legislation that would help sick kids get affordable medical treatment until the hospital gave his campaign $25,000. This is this is why we used to build gallows for guys like him. I tell you, I
Extort a children's hospital? Hanged.
hanged. Well, I mean, they were pretty hang happy back in the day. You didn't have to do much.
Right.
I think that he's well deserving of being strung up a little. And that's not even half of it. I heard all sorts of unconfirmed stories, and I don't want to spread rumors and slander.
Well, you don't have to slander. Just, I write fiction, Zachary. And so I'd like to ponder you. Maybe you could come up with like a plot for a corrupt governor.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, here, a young gentleman was working in the state's great capital.
Okay, follow it.
In government.
Ooh.
And he was often regaled with tales of the politics of this great state of Illinois. And these tales would include such things as people would have to send kickbacks and bribes to high-ranking political officials. But to be clever, because you don't want to get caught like those silly Republicans or Democrats in the state for tax evasion, you got to be smart about how you get your bribes. So instead of just having them pay the money to them, they would route it through their kids' birthday parties. They would demand birthday gifts and cash to their own kids in exchange for political favors. Makes the guy just want to burn it all down to the ground.
Makes a guy want to riot.
Oh, you tell you what. No, you don't want to riot. Rioting's bad.
No, you don't want to riot. It's illegal.
But if you're angry in your heart, you gotta let it out somehow. Sometimes you go burn down a city in America. Sometimes you start a podcast with your good friend. I think it's important, though. No matter how angry you are, that you try not to lose your head about things. Try to keep the facts, the objective facts in check. Prominent conservative commentator Larry Elder put out a tweet, and it just said, stats from the Bureau of Justice. Interracial violent victimizations, excluding homicide, between blacks and whites 2018. It says the total victimizations was 593,598. Excluding homicides, there was over 500,000 victimizations between two racial groups. And then it goes on to discuss, I don't know. So you have this statistic that exists as elucidated by this popular commentator. And, okay, so this is a fact. Interesting. People launch into trying to dissect now, from posting this facts, what his motivations might have been. I mean, you don't know. I could make all kinds of guesses. Maybe he was writing an article related to the uproarious nature of our commentary these days and the things that have been, kicking it off. And he found this interesting statistic and wanted to share it with his followers. Or maybe he wanted to stoke a race riot because he wanted to draw attention to the fact that more people of this race were victimized by that race than the other way around. I don't know. But a lot of people seem to think that they knew what it was. And I said, you guys are mentally ill. This all exists in your head, you idiots. Take a break.
Yeah.
You need to take a breath. You need to sit back for a second and say, where did I go wrong with my life? But they can't.
No, go outside, get some sunshine, breathe in the pollen, get some itchy eyes.
Yeah.
Go take a Zyrtec.
Next thing you know, you're going to get cancer from Zyrtec. Did you see that?
It's the round. Oh no! What? I was gonna use a Roundup weeds or whatever Roundup weed killer joke, but
it might have been Zantac. Anyway,
it's probably Zantac.
It was. But then I found this, and then it all became clear to me that this is a strongly held belief in a lot of circles, and I don't think it's just applied to one side or the other. So take this and chew it around a little and try to realize that this is the heart of mental illness, and you guys need to get some help. Conservatives or Democrats only speak in code. It's all doublespeak because their entire plan is predicated on Trojan horsing the awful things that they want through inside of misleading rhetoric to a public that may not otherwise be as receptive as they need them to be.
Wait, I can't read that. Does it really say Trojan horsing?
Yes. It does.
the Trojan horse pill.
These people, they think that everybody who disagrees with them is dog whistling and Trojan horsing, to use the turn of phrase coined by that galaxy brain individual.
Sounds disgusting, actually.
Their nefarious intent to sneak one past credulous Americans that are willing to believe the things they say on their face.
It's not just sneaking one, Zach. It's not just sneaking one past. It's sneaking one inside. It's Trojan horse. It comes inside your land.
Let's see what the comments have to say. All right. Oh. Oh, Fuzzy Clark was on D. Trump Apprentice. I didn't know that he was on that. I knew Rob.
Who was on what?
On The Apprentice. Fuzzy Clark's in chat saying that he was on The Apprentice.
Fuzzy Clark? He was on The Apprentice? That's pretty cool.
I don't remember seeing that episode. So, I don't...
Wait.
What?
Fuzzy Clark was on the
That's what
Apprentice?
it says. It says, I was on D. Trump Apprentice. We have somebody who's on The Apprentice in our chat right now. I'm forced to believe it's true.
Oh my goodness.
So, these people are flicking...
I do not believe that.
No, I don't know. I just got done saying, I've got no reason to disbelieve him. So what am I going to say? Try to guess? See if he's telling me lies? He said Rod was. I thought he might have been talking about Blagojevich. Oh.
But he said I was on The Apprentice?
It says I was on D. Trump Apprentice.
Okay. I knew that Rod was on The Apprentice.
I never watched that show at all.
Maybe Fuzzy Clark identifies as Rod Blagojevich.
Well, now you're talking.
Yeah.
One of our old law school chums, in order to distract himself from the insanity surrounding us every day, periodically posts these strange hypotheticals. And one of them today was, if you could kill somebody and then take their place and assume their life, who would it be, and how likely would you be to succeed?
Sounds awful.
It was a little dark.
Yeah.
I said...
It's like Steve Buscemi.
Highly likely. I said Vladimir Putin, but I said chances are low. I've seen him with his shirt off riding that horse. And I think he used to be KGB.
Yeah.
I think he might have some hand-to-hand skills.
Maybe.
But I'm a lot younger. I'll wait till he's a little older. But it would defeat the purpose. He's at like the height of his power yet. That's the attraction to me.
How? No, he's like 60, isn't he?
I don't know. He doesn't look that old. Somebody in chat look it up. How old is Vladimir Putin? We'll see if they can come up with it.
Let's see if our research guy gets on and tells us.
Yeah, man, you gotta watch out. I say these people, and I don't know what it is exactly, but they're unwilling, and to the point of saying that it's a grand conspiracy, that the narratives and the stories told by the other side are these Trojan horses that are trying to get inside and lay all their little Trojan horse eggs. Of capitalism or free markets inside the government. But then they say, but obviously our narratives aren't. That's just the truth.
Absolutely. You can't trust Marxists.
And I said to myself, I'm like, hey, remember that idea you had? You just said it, that these narratives are likely lies. Trojan horses in order to try to control people that they're fed to. And then you tripped over your own self, fell into a dang tiger trap, and impaled yourself on bungo sticks because you didn't see that they were doing it to you from both sides. They're Trojan horsing you from both sides.
Both. Yeah.
What?
Playing Odysseus everywhere.
Oh. Terrible. Watch out for the sirens.
Oh, it's not. Yeah. Achilles. Odysseus? Achilles? I don't know.
Oh, Achilles and all of his men with their bright spears in the sunlight. I was reading Homer aloud to myself. That's what I do sometimes. And
I read Paradise Lost to the boys till they fell asleep. So
I was just
Milton. I mean,
I was cleaning out my bedside table and I was like, oh, the Iliad. And I started reading it. And I have a thing. Those epic poems were made to be read aloud to a large group of people. So I don't like to. I think it's wrong just to like read them in your head quietly while you lay in bed or whatever. So I was reading the Iliad in my room, and Allison came in, and I didn't notice, and she was standing there for a minute. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well,
yep. I've been Trojan Horse."
I'm like, well, if you don't know, I don't know if me explaining to you why I have to read it aloud would make sense. But I tried, and I said, these epic poems were passed down in an oral tradition. They're intended to be read aloud. She didn't get it. And here's something.
I mean, even Shakespeare, you'd have to read that aloud too.
Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to. They're plays. I mean, you can read the sonnets, I guess, in your head, but really you should probably be telling those to a lover.
Stand in front of the mirror and...
No, my lover doesn't like me just to stand there and recite sonnets to her.
Yeah, man. What are you doing?
I'm tired. Leave me alone. Oh, the romance is gone. But I tell you what, there's one thing that I just don't get. And that has to do with this business that has happened up north.
Canada.
Oh, a little south of that. A little Kenosha, Wisconsin action in a recent shooting that took place at this in that city, involving.
Which shooting?
It was a young man who had traveled there and had shot some folks, and we don't know the story. I recommend anybody, though, if you're curious about learning more about this and what happened. The New York Times, funnily enough, New York Times itself did a wonderful job, actually, not even sarcastic. They did a great job breaking down
yes,
what the timeline and the events and how they took place, and they like dug through all of the different accounts and video clips to create a timeline and documentation of what occurred when, following young Kyle Rittenhouse and his escapade in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
It was objective news. It was these are the facts as we know them.
Yeah, they did a great. They went to great pains to carefully document what happened based on the information available, and then present it without bias or narrative, and it was wonderful. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what news used to be.
Look for the horseman. The world's ending.
But a debate got started from this event. People on the internet didn't seem to understand what self-defense is, or what justifiable use of force is. And so we have people like this fine Twitter user, Comrade Waluigi.
Oh, jeez, already.
He says, seriously, someone was killed after a shooter opened fire, and all you do is make fun of someone for saying, call the police? Go F yourselves, all of you who think this is a joke. And then someone replied, the left is finally learning what consequences are. And this guy replies, so people deserve to die for looting? In danger quotes. And I said, deserve to die? All right. I'm not going to agree with that. I don't think you deserve to die for looting at the hands of street vigilantes. I think you deserve to die for looting after you've been convicted of a jury of your peers. And then you're hung on the public gallows that we've all built.
They used to do that all the time.
Everything,
all the time.
Every crime was basically punished by hanging.
I it was a very boring class, but it was eye-opening I had to read about American law or something before 1820 or something, and this book was all about the public display of hanging. Basically, that was it. It was like there was these punishments, and basically you were hanged, and everyone saw it, and it was a deterrent because everyone came out. It was kind of like entertainment on one hand. I mean, I don't know. You see it in the old westerns too. But yeah, you got hanged for a lot of stuff.
Right. So deserve to die. I don't know about that, but execution is a just punishment for those crimes. I would agree. And now here's the other thing. What they're trying to say, is, as far as I could cipher it out, is that because they got killed in a looting situation by a person, let's assume he was defending himself or some property from being destroyed by looters, that killing meant, and people that said that killing was a justified homicide, that means that people that say that think that you deserve to die for looting. And so it just struck me that people don't seem to understand the basics of what justified uses of force are that are legally permitted. And so I thought that we might discuss that a little bit today. I don't know anything much about Wisconsin, though, so you guys might have to look that up on your own. And as a disclaimer,
Yeah.
while we're lawyers, this is not legal advice. If you're going to defend yourself, you need to go talk to somebody else, not listen to this nonsense.
That's absolutely true.
But my basic understanding is this. If somebody is trying to do a crime against you or against somebody else or against your property or some other kind of property that you have some interest in defending, that you can then use force to prevent that person from committing the crime. And you must use force that is limited and sufficient to terminate the action that you're trying to stop, the unlawful action of the other person. So, for example, if I saw a kid skateboarding on my driveway, I could say, "Kid, get off my driveway," and I could trip him and then escort him off my lawn. And that would be fine. My use of force, which could otherwise be considered a battery or an unconsented to touching of the individual, would be justified in the circumstances because I was using it to prevent this person from committing a crime against me.
Wait. What? But Zach, what if instead of just tripping him, what if the previous night, you know that this hippie scumbag skater is gonna come around skating in your driveway or whatever? So what you do is you set a spring-loaded shotgun and a tripwire with the tripwire in your driveway. So when he rolls over it, runs in, he gets blasted and his leg goes flying. How about that?
Well, I mean, in my America, obviously that would be fine. In real life, you'd be a murderer. Not just.
Right, you could trip him, but you can't shoot him in the leg.
Right, and that would go back to the proportionality of the response. You can't.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, if
What if you
someone.
stab him?
Same thing, because you would be using potentially deadly force to stop conduct that doesn't warrant deadly force to terminate it. That would be an unjustified use of force, and if you killed them, you'd be a murderer. You might get second degree or something because of mitigating factors. So maybe not first degree murder, unlike poor Kyle Rittenhouse, who got charged with that for his use of his rifle. But
yeah, I was gonna ask, what if the skater in your driveway actually, when you tell him, "Hey, get off my lawn," what if he says, "I've got a gun, I can be here"?
if he just says he has a gun,
If he says it, yeah.
well, I don't know. If I just said I have a gun, I don't know if that would be enough to warrant deadly force. Still, same thing. Proportionality.
What if he comes after you with that skateboard and says, "I'm going to kill you"?
With a skateboard? He's wielding it as a club, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy. A club, a bludgeon weapon.
Well, now we can get it. There are special rules. There are special rules that exist for when you can use deadly force in order to stop somebody from doing the bad thing. And it's based on what the bad thing they're doing is. And it's this in Illinois. I don't know what your state is, wherever you are.
I'm in the Mariana Trench, I think.
Wait. In Illinois, I don't know. The law, there's no law down here at the very bottom of the ocean. But in the great state of Illinois, if somebody is trying to commit a felony against you or against somebody else, or trying to enter your home to commit a felony, then you can kill them. That's any felony. You can literally kill him for doing a...
Kill him?
Yeah, doing a burglary. Dead. Justified. It's not even a question. It's not
He
about.
says, "I'm going to come in here and I'm going to come in there and steal your computer, which is valued at over $1,000."
Yeah, dead.
He starts going in there.
Justified.
You shoot him.
Yeah, stab him. Do whatever. You can kill that guy. That's a justified use of force. There's interesting rules when it comes to forcible felonies. What that means in the context where deadly force can be used to prevent those from being committed. But basically, anytime someone tries to do a felony in your home or commit a forcible felony against a person, then that is a incident where you can use lethal force to stop them. So, for example, if I was in Chicago and I was going shop to shop, eating at all the different Portillos they have up there or whatever.
Yes, that sounds good.
And all of a sudden a protest came at me. Oh! Out of nowhere, a protest arrived. A wild protest came out of the bushes.
It has 150 HP.
Yeah. And they saw my American flag bandana, and they said, "Oh my gosh, it's one of those MAGA guys. He's got an American flag bandana. Only people who love America are Republican."
They're gonna, yeah. They're gonna Trojan Horse me.
Oh my gosh! Don't listen to him. He's gonna Trojan Horse you with his sly rhetoric. If they came up to me and they tried to put their hands on me at all, I'm on the street. This is a public way. That's a battery. Battery on a public way is a forcible felony. And a forcible felony can be addressed with deadly force. So if I couldn't get away, maybe they were surrounding me, and some guy came up and tried to touch me or grab my jacket, I could pull a gun and kill him right there, and it would not be murder. It would be justified killing. So let's say that Kyle Rittenhouse was in Chicago instead of the great state of Wisconsin. And I don't know, because there's a bunch of messy facts and you don't really know what's happening. But let's say that he was just in the street and all of a sudden he was getting chased down by a guy with a skateboard and a guy carrying a Glock 45.
And a guy about to launch a Molotov cocktail.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it was a Molotov cocktail. But I left that guy out on purpose because I don't know what would happen. And in the New York Times timeline, there was gunshots and stuff before that first guy got shot.
Right, yeah.
But so if I am Kyle and I'm in the middle of the street in Chicago and a guy's running at me and they have a skateboard or anything and they try to attack me and jump on me, then I'm perfectly within my rights to murder them in the street. And it is not a crime.
It's not murder. You have the right to kill them.
It's murder.
It's not counted as
that's just the word. You're killing a person. No. It's murder.
No.
It's justifiable use of deadly force to shoot them.
It's a justified killing. Murder is something else.
Yeah.
But okay. So then, if you are, let's just go with this hypothetical then. So someone is battering you in the streets of Chicago. You pull out your gun and you John Wick them. So are you then charged with murder?
You could be.
Or what's the procedure with that?
I mean, it all depends on the prosecutor and the police, but they can certainly charge you. Justification is a defense.
I say the prosecutor is Juicy Smollett. Oh wait, yeah, just kidding. You're getting charged. It's
correct.
You are getting charged.
Your claim then is that while I did kill it, maybe I don't know, because you can argue all sorts of things. They don't have enough evidence to show that you even killed or shot the guy or whatever. You could say that. I don't know. Kyle had a tough time. They had him on camera every which way about shooting those dudes.
Oh yeah.
But yes, you would say that I did shoot them in fact, but it was justified. It was justified use of force because they were committing a forcible felony against me at the time, and then other things. There's initial aggressor theory where if you were the one that started the fight, then you can't use deadly force against somebody who's defending themselves against you. So if I attacked you on the street with my skateboard and then you pulled a knife to defend yourself, and then I pulled a gun and shot you dead, then that's murder. And there's no justified use of force. But it gets tricky because I pull my skateboard, you pull a knife, I start running away. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's got a knife. All I have is this piece of wood. These fancy trucks. My new bearings on it. Go super fast. But I ran away as fast as I could. But you started chasing me after the fight had ended and you were no longer in danger. And you caught up to me and you were like, cut me up with this knife. I could pull my gun out and shoot you. And that would be justified again. And you would have become the aggressor because the initial aggression had terminated, and then you reinstigated it.
Right.
Best case scenario for everybody involved and all you kids out there listening: don't fight people in the street.
No, don't do it.
Run away if someone tries to hurt you. If someone's trying to hurt somebody else, I'll tell you to do what you think is right. But I'm not going to tell you what to do other than that. And I hope this helps people out there understand.
Make sure. Yeah, that's my other question for you, Zach. Is this secret knowledge that you have, or is this like available to learn somewhere about justified use of force?
Oh man!
You mentioned that people don't
like that guy.
It's everywhere that people are claiming that you can't.
You can only use force if someone's about to kill you. Yeah, no, these people are idiots. All you can do is Google it. You can get a general idea about anything. But if you want to read the specific laws, that's easy enough too. They're all available publicly on the internet. All you got to do is type in self-defense, Illinois. All the rules will come up. There'll be several people commenting on it. You might have a tough time if you Google self-defense Wisconsin right now because there's about 10,000 think pieces out there by internet geniuses talking about how it's supposed to go. But no, it is not secret. These people are just dumb. Or what they're saying is that it shouldn't be that way. That's saying.
Yeah.
Which was mostly what I was getting from a lot of those guys. It's just property. We're just burning businesses, and cars, and police stations, breaking windows,
hospitals, Ronald McDonald houses.
Yeah. Looting the Ronald McDonald house.
Yeah.
But so you guys, just leave town or whatever, and then don't worry about it. Not to mention that guy they pulled out of his car and beat him to death the other day. Is that video of those shopkeepers begging the protesters? I don't know. I don't want to call these guys protesters. Begging the looters not to loot their business, and they beat him and his wife in the street.
Yeah. And
I say to myself, if you think that these people should just lay down and let you do this to them, then let me come to your house. you can DM your address, your personal residence, right there to the Trigger Media account, and Adam and I will take a road trip, and we'll come to visit you.
Yeah, bring a gift basket.
Yeah, but we'll have lots of candy,
Well,
and we'll see.
we'll bring
See
a
how you
Trojan
feel
Horse.
about it.
We'll Trojan Horse you.
Yeah, because while you might be angry, you're not the only one that's angry. And when it devolves into violence, it turns into a thing that isn't good for anybody involved. Because if you guys are worried about young Kyle Rittenhouse, 17 years old, going up to think he's doing a good thing to help protect people, and he kills 3 people because he thinks they're trying to hurt him, you don't know what's going to happen to you when people actually start taking revenge for what you're doing to them. And without the cops there to stop them, it's just going to be a bloodbath. Nobody wants that. Stop. Just stop.
No, there's a threshold where the cops can't actually act. They have to triage what, and it's not even the correct word. They've got to prioritize what they're going to be doing, and it'll get to a point where basically they'll just go home and protect their family.
Right. That's the thing.
That's his job.
And that's the other thing. People don't seem to understand cops at all.
No, absolutely not.
The cops, their number one priority is not to die. They don't want to get murdered by some methed out crazy guy who was driving 95 in a 25 school zone, and they had to pull him over and see what's going on.
Right.
And so their training requires them to do certain things, and it requires them to be alert for situations where they're going to get murdered. And it's all about control and these other sorts of things. And then you have other situations on the fringe. But if a cop thinks that you could possibly do something that could murder them, and you're in the I'm going to get murdered zone, they're going to be a little trigger happy with you, and you're probably going to get shot if you start making quick movements, like toward your automobile or all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, hidden compartments or maybe perceived compartments, pockets. I don't know. There's then we had something like that here in town. What was it, last year, 2 years ago?
I don't remember that. I'm not saying you're not going to get killed otherwise, because some people are just like
that happens too,
trigger happy and weird. But if you're in the cop thinks he's going to get murdered zone, you're on the peak of being killed. Any false move right now is going to get you shot dead. Watch out. And as much as cops are trained about this, to the extent that this is the situation, people need to be aware that this is the situation. Cop pulls you over and he sees you fiddling around under your seat or in your glove box for something as he's getting ready to come walk up to your window. He thinks you might be finding a weapon to kill him. And so he's going to be on alert. His gun is probably unhooked, maybe even unholstered. And you make a fast move, you're getting shot. That's the way it's going to be, because that cop's first priority is getting home alive to his family. And they're trained about all these situations wherein the you're going to get murdered zone exists and how to avoid that. And I think we were talking about this. There are bad cops out there that use this fact that this zone exists as cover, because they're basically justified in murdering you if you get into the I could die zone and then you start making fast moves.
Right.
If the cop shoots you, that's not a crime from the cop. That's what his training has told him to do. Now, whether or not the training is right or whatever, you can go down that rabbit hole forever. Maybe we change that stuff. We're talking is, not oughts here. But you get into the idea that the I could get killed zone exists, and now a cop wants to kill you because whatever reason. They don't like the way you looked at them. I think one guy, I believe I heard a story, refused to put out a cigarette when he got pulled over by a police officer, challenged the authority of the cop. Couldn't have that. Decided to do some murdering. That they have ways of doing that in that penumbra that exists because of the way the system is structured with police training and use of force rules. So, for people that say that guy didn't deserve to die for a warrant or a traffic stop or for reaching into his car, correct. Just like looters didn't deserve to die. But that doesn't change the fact that they legally can be killed in that situation. That's what the law says.
Right.
No crimes were committed. This was justified use of force in order to prevent whatever was happening.
Exactly. And an important point here is that a lot of the stuff was preventable.
What stuff? I didn't talk about any specifics. What are you talking about?
But you said reaching into cars.
Yeah, to get his driver's license or whatever. I don't know. It was a hypothetical.
Yeah, quick movements.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's what you said.
Exactly correct. People don't know, or they do know, and they don't care for whatever reason, and they don't think they're going to get shot. And I'm like, every time that you get an encounter with a police officer, assume that they're going to shoot you dead. And then act that way the entire time.
Yeah, really weirded them out.
Yeah, like, hello, officer, how are you? Yes, my driver's license. It's right here. And then you pull
it is in my back pocket.
Yeah, no. See, like, can I get out and, like, you can just take it because I don't want to get shot. This would be an appropriate action, I would think.
Have you ever done that?
No, I'm not very good.
I went to church with my cops.
Well, basically, right? That's true. I think the police chief, he's still the police chief in my near. Went to my church. But you should, like, keep your driver's license and your insurance card, anything the cop might need, in some place that you don't have to reach into a concealed place to grab. So they say put it in your sun visor or whatever.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, and then you can just fold it down and pull it out. And then you're not grabbing knives and guns.
Keep it in your glove compartment where you also keep your
right up top
loaded firearm.
Right atop your loaded gun. Oh, I got this gun here. Let me just reach here and grab the shot dead. You don't even have to do that. That was that Philando Castile case.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Officer, I just wanted to let you know that I am a concealed carry license holder and I do have a gun in my car. Pow, 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 pow! Murdered by the cop. And I'm like, oh my God, that
is messed up.
That's a little messed up. I didn't even hear about that guy. That was like, he's not one of the martyrs, one of the pantheon of.
No, it's a weird thing. You don't hear his name.
He's like the primary one I point to, though.
There's also the African American woman who was gunned down in her car in D.C. when she's like a dental hygienist or something, and she thought she was hearing radio wave transmissions from Barack Obama. She was led the police or someone on a high-speed chase through D.C. This was back in like 2012 or 2013. She crashed, and then they gunned her down in her car.
Yeah.
She wouldn't get out, and they gunned her down, and her baby was in there.
Yeah, they were in the they could be murdered zone. She might have made some furtive movements inside the car.
I don't even remember what her name was. I mean, I would have to look it up. But I mean, that's one of those things that it's just like you don't hear her as one of the, what did you call it, pantheon?
Yeah, one of these martyred saints.
Yeah,
that you might hear about.
It's weird.
Old George Floyd, and Mike Brown. What was the guy in New York, the chokehold guy? Eric Gardner. As well.
Eric, yeah.
The new guy, Blake. Something Blake, last name.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys, they're the pantheon, the martyred saints of this movement.
Yeah.
Who?
I think you're being.
What?
I think you're being a little bit snarky calling them saints, but
oh, I don't know.
I remember a handful of articles. Dude, there's a handful of stuff out there that talks about that so-and-so was killed for the benefit of the whole world or something weird.
Yeah, they're saying George Floyd was the new Jesus or whatever who died for us.
Really weird.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that out of that whole George Floyd.
Blasphemous.
Maybe a little bit. But you know. What are you going to do, man? I'll tell you what I want to do. I had the same response to everything.
Hey,
everything I see in the world is this guy had to. Apparently a thing that happened called Lego Gate. Stop me from
no. Okay, go ahead. I don't. It has to do with who built the Lego thing,
Donald
right?
Trump's grandkid apparently made some Lego thing, or didn't, and that was the big thing. They said that he made this Lego White House. Oh, he's only 3. He couldn't have did it. Oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my gosh, why are we talking about this? Who cares? It's like those people on Twitter. It's like, my 3-year-old came up to me and said, why are we destroying the planet? My future's in danger. We should do things to help.
Those are all lies.
Like, oh,
those are all lies.
Didn't happen.
No, it's all fake.
True.
No, they'll come up and be like, I pooped or something.
Yeah.
Or, I want to watch this show. Or, can you read me this book? It's nothing like, you'll get the odd and end of, kids say the darndest things type deal, but it's never like, I really think that our president is a fascist. It's all garbage.
I can't believe President Trump's doing this horrible thing to those children on the borders. We should do something to help them, Mommy.
Excuse me, Dad. Dad, I think he is violating the Hatch Act.
I'm 28 months old.
What's that? Dear father, I think that they're trying to Trojan Horse us.
Well, this guy, he saw this nonsense and he said, Lego Gate is trending. It's about some kid not building a model of the White House. People actually care about this. I'm going to bash my skull in. And I said, I relate to this. Sometimes I'd like it all to end too. But it's never going to. Just can't convince the wife to murder me. All this nonsense keeps happening to my wife. But one day.
Lego Gate.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe people, just like last time, there's stuff going on. There's stuff going on in the world. And we're talking about this nonsense. And I only bring it up to say that the fact that it is such a hot topic makes me want to dig a hole and bury myself in it until the world's changed. But that's the trouble.
That's like that movie with Brendan Fraser.
Oh, my lucky stars. Blast from the Past. I think I saw that in theaters, as a matter of fact. What a strange film.
It's good.
I liked it a little. Oh, but that's the thing about the world, Adam. You can't just sit in your bunker for 30 years or whatever and then come out. But, like they say, only thing that evil needs to succeed is for good men to stand by and do nothing. Unless standing by and doing nothing isn't opposing violent rioters and looters, because that's not supposed to happen, because you have to let them do the thing they're doing, and opposing them actually is wrong, because who's to say that them violating the law and burning people's homes and businesses isn't a rational expression of their frustration and anger?
It's important, Zachary, that you're not on the wrong side of history. You need to be on the right side of history. Whatever defined in my terms.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm starting to think that the right side of history... No, I won't say it. Right side of history. Being a responsible individual. Taking care of yourself and your family. And doing the things you can do to improve your community. That's all you can ask for yourself or anybody else.
You sound like an extremist, actually.
Probably so. Nowadays. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm not anti enough. Anyway, so we had a bit heavy episode for you folks tonight, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Smash like,
informative,
subscribe. Feel free to follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Conveniently located Twitter handles located on your screen.
Hit the bell button on YouTube so you get the notifications when our videos pop up, when we're streaming.
Oh yeah, whenever we go live at 9 o'clock every Friday. How could you forget?
Or maybe at other times. Who knows?
I would like to put together some clips, like clip different things and do that. I'm trying to talk Allison into being our video editor, doing that for us. But she hasn't really sunk her teeth in on it yet. She's like, I don't know how to do video editing. I'm like, yeah, me either. You figure that out. But that's our show for tonight, folks. And if you want to comment down below on our new stage names, that'd be wonderful. Also, I heard some criticisms that our intro theme might be too long, but gosh darn it, I love it so dang much, I don't care. I'd make it 5 minutes if it had to be. But if you think that it ought to be trimmed down or a different song might be selected, feel free to suggest a new song. It has to be public domain because we don't have any money.
We don't have anybody, man.
Ugh. I mean, unless you want to start giving us money. I'll have to get my Patreon set up or whatever. Oh.
Yeah, we can contact ASCAP or BMI and see how much they would charge us for like Master of Puppets or something.
Oh my gosh. Wait,
I can't say that, can I?
You can say it. You just start playing the song. I wanted to use Symphony of Destruction. That would have been awesome. I don't know if Dave Mustaine would have licensed it to the Trigger Media podcast, though.
Yeah, those rock and roll guys, you got to watch out for them.
Oh, man, I'm going to listen to that as soon as this gets over. Anyway, folks, that's our show for the night. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week. Same time, same channel. Take care.
Yep. Don't get Trojan Horse.